Every story appears ordinary till you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
A very good evening to you. Welcome to CoreTV Primetime News. I am Omotayo Alo. In our top stories tonight. Thank you for joining us tonight. Now the news in full. The All Progressives Congress National Caucus has been meeting with President Muhammad Buhari on sundry issues affecting the leadership of the party and the actualization of its economic agenda. Though there is no clear-cut agenda, but some of the party leaders in attendance includes President of the Senate Bukola Saraki, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, Chairman of the All Progressives Congress John Odigwe Oyegun, National Leader of the party Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Details of the outcome of the meeting will be brought to you in our subsequent bulletin. Now, away from that, the federal government says all is set to pump 350 billion naira into the economy with the aim of stimulating it ahead of the budget passage of the 2016 budget. Minister of Finance Kemi Adeosun stated this while reading the communique of the just concluded Executive Council retreat on the economy. State House correspondent Abiola Oluwole reports that government is also setting year 2018 target for the country to be self-sufficient in rice production.
For the second day, political leaders across party divides are brainstorming on how to take the nation out of the current economic challenges confronting her. At the opening, President Muhammadu Buhari affirms the readiness of his administration to increase Nigeria's distributable power to 10,000 megawatts. After the two-day closed-door retreat, Minister of Finance and our Budget and National Planning counterparts were joined by the chairman of the Nigeria's Governors Forum and the Anambra State Governor to read the communique of the retreat. According to the Minister of Finance and our Budget and National Planning counterpart, the federal government is ready to stimulate the national economy with the injection of 350 billion naira.
In anticipation of the approval of the budget, we have actually lined up around 350 billion, which will be pumping into the Nigerian economy in the forthcoming months. We explained our rationale and the processes that we put in place.
We resolved that we would concentrate our efforts in diversifying revenue sources, particularly that we would concentrate on revamping agriculture.
Anambra State Governor says committees have been set up to ensure strict adherence to the implementation of the resolution of the retreat.
To develop financial model for infrastructure projects, we also agreed to constitute the Critical Infrastructure Council made up of the VP, the key ministries, and Ministry of Finance.
As the National Council retreat on economy winds down, expectations of Nigerians, according to analysts, is to see the ideas mooted come to fruition. From the presidential villa in Abuja, Abiola Oluwole reporting for CoreTV News.
A statement of hope for the economic situation in the country there. Now, away from that, as the federal government of Nigeria staged a two-day national economic summit to charten the course for development and growth, mixed reactions have continued to greet this development. On our steamy flagship program, Core Digest, analyst on the show examines the summit if it will translate into revamping the economy of Nigeria. Our correspondent has more in this report.
The National Economic Council retreat currently holding at the State House Conference Center has been receiving reactions from Nigerians as the President of Nigeria, Muhammadu Buhari, targets 10,000 megawatts of power in 3 years. Business analyst on our flagship program called Digest enjoins the federal government to implement policies that will benefit Nigerians.
You see, I think in Nigeria we just talk. I don't like us just talk. Let's say what is visible. Let's say what is workable. Don't let us deceive one another. How economical is it if you are using all your funds to just build houses?
On the issue of providing affordable housing by the APC governors, this is what he has to say.
The president or the National Economic Summit to come up with communicate to say they will do 5 things. It's blatant lie. What they could just do is 1 or 2 things. It is much more better for you to say I will do A and you can do 80% of it than saying I will do A, B, C, D and you do nothing.
Callers also share their views.
I don't think we need to lay pipelines from south to north to generate power. We can build a gas plant there in Rivers, Akwa Ibom, Delta, Bayelsa, and lay the cable.
To me, that economic summit is an example of 2 work. A country where the governance system is the federal government has 50% of the resources, while the state and local government take 40-something%. How will it work?
Meanwhile, the president has declared war on the country's power sector, saying epileptic power supply is no longer a laughing matter. It is expected that the policies made by this administration will be implemented for better future of Nigerians.
The National Assembly has laid the 2016 appropriation bill on the floors of both chambers. The final draft of the bill, which is supposed to have been laid at the last legislative week, will step down for some more adjustment to be made. Members are talking about what Nigerians should expect from the budget, tagged the budget of hope.
Nigerians can now rest with assurances that the budget will be passed any day now, as the document that will fashion their financial lives for the next 12 months is finally being made public. The 2016 budget is one that is different from previous ones in that it is the first budget of the new administration and the highest budget predicated on a benchmark of a falling.
We took the budget in line with the interests of Nigeria and Nigerians. We took the budget with the understanding that we, yes, we're trying to ensure rapid economic growth.
I think the expectation should be really different from the initial and original expectation when Mr. President laid the estimates, the budget, to his joint session of the National Assembly did last year. I mean, it's, the President spoke lavishly about what he was laying, laying the particular basis, of the budget, Christian budget of hope.
Again, talks of diversification continues to rend the air. Nigeria needs to move away from oil-based economy so as to stabilize a proper revenue generation avenue. With a proposal of more than 8 trillion naira, government will be needing money to finance the budget. One way of such funds coming in is by borrowing, a situation most Nigerians are not aware of.
I mean, namely our Greek, housing, even power, and I think that no Nigerian won't be able to appreciate, what great benefit it would be if the country is able to overcome its power challenges.
Yes, we are trying to diversify our economy. Yes, we want to provide employment for our teeming youth. Yes, we want to really invest heavily on agriculture and solar minerals and other aspects that can really boost our economic base.
With a proposal of more than 8 trillion naira, government will be needing money to finance the budget. One way of such funds coming in is by borrowing, a situation most Nigerians are not aware of.
Having to borrow really is not something that doesn't make economic sense. It does make economic sense to borrow. I think that is the application of what they are borrowing that could be the issue. If you are borrowing to finance consumption, within the budget there's a consumption aspect having to do with overheads, recurring expenditures and things like that. There is also the productive aspect having to do with capital spending. So if what you are borrowing is devoted to capital, to growing the economy, and to producing more, I think there's nothing wrong with that.
Much is expected by Nigerians from the budget. All that is needed to be done now is that government should fulfill its promise to the people as laid out in the budget. Jamila Fegwa, CoreTV News, Abuja.
The Monetary Policy Meeting of the Central Bank of Nigeria has risen from its regular meeting with a promise to do more to stimulate economic growth through a variety of monetary tightening moves. The committee also called for the passage of the 2016 budget without further delay. Correspondent Kozim Kasali has more in this report from Abuja.
Rising after the meeting with a communique read by the governor of the central bank, the Monetary Policy Committee says the economy has not performed as well as it should and that monetary policies will be geared towards stimulating the real sector. The committee added that weakening macroeconomic environment and a variety of other factors are responsible for the current decline in performance by the real sector. It, however, announced the following decision, which it says will help in stimulating growth.
The MPC voted to 1. Raise NPR by 100 basis points from 11% to 12%. 2. Raise the CRR by 250 basis points from 20% to 22.5%. 3. Retain liquidity ratio at 30%. And 4. Narrow the asymmetric corridor from plus 200 and minus 700 basis points to plus 200 and 5 minus 500 basis points.
The committee says the exchange rate has been stable for some time now and that it will work to ensure that that remains the case. On the issue of the alleged $20 billion idle funds in domiciliary accounts, the committee has this explanation.
We have customers that have about $20 billion in domiciliary accounts. But I think I need to seize this opportunity to say that those funds are not idle, like has been wrongly quoted.
The committee also advised the Central Bank of Nigeria to ensure constant liquidity to vital sectors of the economy and the passage of the 2016 budget without further delay. Kozim Kasali, CoreTV News.
You're still watching CoreTV Primetime News. We'll take a quick break now, and when we return, we'll bring you more stories. Do stay with us.
Mommy, more. Where would I be without you? Now you be my best friend. Now you be my sister. Now you be my mentor, and you are still my mama. Mama na kay nakatay. Kibani doya de wake. Mama no lazy. You help me reach my peak in mama. Now you wash my infant head. Oh, everything for you I go do, mama.
Show your sweet and caring mother how much she means to you. Celebrate her with the special Peak Packs. Peak, it's in you.
Join the Airtel family today and get 5 times the value of every recharge. Recharge with *555 PIN hash on the Airtel network and feel at home. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Good to have you back. You're still watching CoreTV Primetime News. A quick reminder of our top stories. You could get our top stories and more on our social media platform, facebook.com/CoreTV News, on Twitter at CoreTV News NG. You could get more on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/CoreTV, leave a space and news. Nigerians have been encouraged to support the APC-led federal government in its bid to restore the confidence of Nigerians in their leaders. Senator representing Lagos West Olamilekan Adiola disclosed this at a forum in Lagos, adding that the level of rot the President Muhammad Buhari's administration met when it assumed office makes it necessary for a thorough job to be done, a pace he agrees many citizens perceive as being slow. Victoria Solomon files in this report presented from our studio. The All Progressives Congress, APC, came into power at the federal government level in 2015 with the emergence of President Muhammad Buhari. During the campaigns before the April elections, several promises were made by APC as they contested against the People's Democratic Party, PDP, which has ruled the nation for some 16 years. The promises border on improved power, security and employment, amongst others. After 10 months of APC at the helm of affairs and few, if any, physical evidence of such promises seen, Nigerians seem to believe things are moving too slow for their liking. APC, however, urges citizens to be supportive, pointing out areas of governance the present government has positively impacted.
APC government inherited a very bad economic situation in this country, and we are trying to put it in place. You quite agree with me that it's not going to be easy. So we are working around the clock to ensure that we bring back our economy on a very strong footing, and we take it from there. Change doesn't come automatically. It's a process. We did not envisage the rot that is in this country. Eventually things are going to be okay.
It also says the change mantra is not just a slogan but a reality.
I would say that they should continue to support the party. Senator Yayi represents APC. His Excellency the Governor represents APC. All the political leaders from this district are good ambassadors. They are good examples of what it takes to be responsive, to be responsible, and to show that this is how leadership is supposed to be.
No doubt the fate of party faithful remain unshaken, but how much convince the average citizen and in fact the opposition will continue to be is a question no one can guess. A united front by members of the All Progressives Congress is vital for the continued progress of the party and the achievement of its development objectives for Nigeria. Pulling in the same direction, according to the party's national chairman, John Odige Oyegun, will ensure that the party is able to continue to be cohesive, especially in Kano State. It says the misunderstanding within the party's Kano chapter will soon be a thing of the past. Correspondent Kozim Kasali completes the story.
For a few weeks now, the Kano State chapter of the All Progressives Congress has been battling with a crisis of confidence between the state governor and the immediate past governor of the state, with the cream of the party's leadership in the state in Abuja to put the record straight on what is going on in the Kano State chapter of the party. But for the national chairman of the party, the crisis is an internal matter between two brothers. He says the Kano chapter is very strategic and that the party cannot afford a crisis in the state. He, however, urges members of the party nationwide and all Nigerians to unite behind President Muhammadu Buhari and state governors to ensure that they manage the little resources better and without distractions.
So all of us, all the party, the totality of the party, must unite behind our chief executives, the president and the government. So we are going to do everything we can. And please, for the third time, I'm appealing to you that you assist us to restore amity.
Chairman of the Kano State chapter of the party, however, says all is well within the party in the state, and that the removal of the former chairman and organizing secretary is due to some misdeeds.
The Kano chapter of our great party is united and intact. I must express our gratitude to members of the Working Committee, the Executive Committee, and the entire members of our great party in Kano State for reposing me confidence in us. Once again, we pledge our commitments to give our very best in steering the party.
He also says the party is united and that the absence of the former common red cap is a personal matter for members. Kazim Kasali, CoreTV News, Abuja.
Last Saturday's rerun election is once again adjudged as bloody as opposition members engage it over killing and injuring many. Whatever may have caused terrible situation may not be far-fetched. The electoral process is flawed according to those whose duty it is to ratify it, and Senator Ovie Omo Agege has been calling for a complete shift into full electronic process. Jamil Efagwa engaged him in an exclusive chat.
Rivers State is now a state where no one wants to touch with a long spoon during elections. Last Saturday's rerun election testifies to that. Death and injuries marring most of the process. Now, some members of the Senate are saying that the time is right for a complete overhaul of the Electoral Act through an amendment to incorporate the full use of an e-voting system.
We need to remove the power from the hands of these individuals and go full-blown electronic. E-voting, we need to amend the Electoral Act to provide and accommodate e-voting.
Omo Agege explains that the Supreme Court judgment disregarding victories through the card readers was indeed a mere interpretation of the facts on ground, as relevant sections of the Constitution did not mention the device.
The Supreme Court will interpret the law, the extant law as it is, not the way it ought to be. That is the misconception a lot of people are having. They only interpret what they see, what is given to them. The law as it is right now, the Supreme Court is very, very right.
Many are blaming the distortion of the election on human influences, especially the two main characters in the governance of Rivers State, Rotimi Amechi, former governor, and the governor, Nyesom Wike, seeing as their supporters are mostly fingered in the process.
Amechi has a right to his views, to his personal views on how Rivers should be governed. Wike, on the other hand, also has his own rights. Are you getting right there? To his views on how Rivers should be governed, so long as this is done within the confines of the law.
National Assembly is set to carry out its electoral reforms amendment. The use of card readers may be fully implemented. The question remains, will politicians not find another way around it to win elections, even in violence? Jamil Efagwa, CoreTV News, Abuja.
Meanwhile, Inspector General of Police Solomon Arase debunks allegations that the police favored the ruling All Progressive Congress during last weekend's National State Assembly rerun elections in Rivers State. The IGP, who exonerated the police in the violence that greeted the Rivers rerun, maintained that the police discharged its duties professionally. He was speaking to reporters in Abakaliki during his one-day working visit to Ebonyi State Police Command. He called on police officers to be thorough in their investigation and make friends with members of the public for effective community policing, while also maintaining a stand on dismantling of roadblocks and warning policemen to avoid negative acts that can portray the police in bad light. On the Ebonyi-Benue Cross River boundary disputes that have claimed many lives, Arase noted that efforts have been made to restore normalcy in the disputed areas. The Mbachu Ekiti lawmaker Afolabi Akoni, who is alleged by the Ekiti state government to have died in the custody of the Directorate of State Security (DSS), has been released from detention. The lawmaker had been picked up by the DSS for more than 2 weeks over routine national security issues. No reason was given for his detention and eventual release. It will be recalled that the Ekiti state government, through its information commissioner, had raised the alarm last week over the purported death of Afolabi Akoni in the DSS custody. But the DSS was swift in debunking the allegations and paraded the lawmaker ill and hearty. Moving on, Chief of Defence Staff Abayomi Olonishakin is reiterating that the commitment of the armed forces is to ensure security of lives and property as well as the corporate existence of Nigeria. Olonishakin said this while inaugurating a 12-man human rights committee in Abuja. It says it is in furtherance of the armed forces' resolve to protecting human rights. Our defense correspondent, Kikelomo Okere, completes the story.
Speaking at the event, the Chief of Defence Staff, General Abayomi Gabriel Olonishakin, says the inauguration of the Human Rights Committee is to demonstrate openness and commitment to Nigerian and the rest of the world that the Armed Forces of Nigeria is a responsive organization. He's charging the committee not to limit its focus to the Northeast alone, as there must be proper collation of documents as well as investigate of all alleged human rights violations.
In the discharge of your assignment, you will be required to collate and document written complaints as well as investigate all the alleged human rights violations.
In his remark, the chairman of the committee, Major General Abubakar Mustafa Ganiu, retired, pledged the efficiency of the committee to be completely independent and submission will be made with facts and figures.
I wish to submit that we will do a thorough job. We will look at those isolated cases, because I'm not unaware of the fact that such cases are just isolated in various parts. And whatever submissions we are going to make to you will be submissions based on facts and figures.
The committee required to advise the Defense Headquarters on the need to review any extant guidelines that will contribute to the professional conduct of the armed forces personnel. From Abuja, Kikelomo Adeola Okere, CoreTV News.
And on the fight against corruption, Justice Abdulkadir Abu Kafarati of a federal high court in Abuja on Tuesday withdrew from the case filed by the President of the Senate, Bukola Saraki, seeking an order to stop his trial for false asset declaration before the Code of Conduct Tribunal. This development followed reports in Sahara Reporters, an online media which accused the judge of taking bribe from Saraki to compromise in the judgment that was to be delivered in the case on Tuesday. Judiciary correspondent Basil Okafor has more in this report.
Justice Abdul Kafarati had on March 1st heard and fixed Tuesday for judgment in Saraki case to stop his trial at the CCT. This is even as the Supreme Court had on February 5th heard that the tribunal has the jurisdiction to try the Senate President. But now Justice Abdul Kafarati is saying that his integrity had been malign by online media reports and that the honorable thing for him to do was to disqualify himself from the case. The judge, who quoted copiously the online report, said he had been caught between two devils. The CCT had also fixed March 24th to deliver its ruling on Saraki's another application challenging the validity of the charges and the tribunal's jurisdiction to entertain the case.
Federal High Court in Lagos has granted bail to the former Director General of the Nigerian Maritime and Safety Agency, NIMASA, Patrick Akpobolokemi, and 6 others in the sum of 15 million and 10 million naira respectively, with one surety in like sum. Akpobolokemi and 6 others now have their trials separated from that of Government Ekpemomokolo, popularly known as Tom Polo, who is still at large and yet to show up in court. The accused are each facing different charges bordering on money laundering and diversion of public funds. Akin Obakeye has more.
Patrick Akpobolokemi and 6 others have a 24-hour deadline to meet up their bail conditions of 15 million and 10 million naira respectively, with a surety each in like sum, as granted by Justice Ibrahim Buba of the Federal High Court in Lagos. Akpobolokemi is on a 5-count charge of fraud and money laundering. The suit filed by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, against the former NIMASA boss and Government Ekemopolo, alias Tompolo, has been separated because Tompolo is yet to answer to the charges against him.
Well, it is the duty of the security forces, and they are still making efforts to get him. He's on the run. He's on the run. And he cannot continue to be on the run forever. we will get him.
One of the conditions for granting the bail is that accused persons must be present for trial.
It's actually at the discretion of the court. The kind of conditions the court will impose on an accused person. But since they are already on bail in respect of different charges before the same court, that's why we thought we should leave it to the discretion of the court. And that's what we did today.
Observers hope Tompolo will present himself before the court soon in the hope that justice will be served in the interest of the country. Meanwhile, the case has been adjourned till the 21st to 26th of April 2016. Akin Obakeye, CoreTV News, Lagos.
The Kwara State Command of the Nigerian Immigration Services says it has rescued 20 minor boys who have been used as laborers in farms at Kwame local government area of Kwara State.
Parading the boys and the accused farmers who hired them, the state controller of the National Immigration Service, Abimbola Abiodun-Ojo, says the command has been having run-in battles with Yoruba farmers in the area, as one of the officers was recently beaten to a coma for daring to challenge them on the illegal hiring of minors. The 20 boys, who are between the ages of 12 and 16, are now nationals of Benin Republic, Togo, and Burkina Faso, and are being recruited to work in farms in Kayama local government area of Kwara State, which shares borders with Benin Republic. While briefing journalists, Abiodun-Ojo notes that her officers went for routine mop-up exercise when they met the boys on the farm working. The boys, she adds, had been conditioned to believe that they will be given a motorcycle each in exchange for their hard labor. While 15 of them are from Benin Republic, 3 are from Togo, and the remaining 2 from Burkina Faso.
It all boils down to the fact that 16 of these children were found working on the farm, and we arrested them, but unfortunately they went with the machine, discharged the minors, went away with the bayonets and all sorts. But what I want to say particularly was that we want these farmers to desist from employing underaged.
The alleged farmer who engaged the boys, Muriana Salihu, admitted in Yoruba that he only engaged 3 of the boys and claimed ignorance of the others.
ọ̀rọ̀ mo ṣiṣẹ́ àròpé gẹ́gẹ́ bí wọ́n ṣe gba káàdì ni mo nílò lè gba káàdì pé kí n bẹ́ẹ̀lì wọn wọ́n sì ní kò sí bẹ́ẹ̀lì àwọn kó wa lọ sí Ìlọrin náà wọ́n fi kó wa sí Ìlọrin àwọn mẹ́ta náà ti tèmi ń bẹ̀.
Parents are expected to take care of their children and avoid being put into hard labor.
Kunini and Bali communities in Taraba State have finally been linked to electricity as Governor Darius Ishaku commissions rural power electrification in the areas. Those communities have long been without electricity, which is necessary for economic and social well-being. Odua Godwin brings us details.
The expectation and fulfillment of every electorate after electing candidates to political offices is to see them doing the needful. The expression on their faces show their expectations have not been cut off and are optimistic that other basic developmental requirements will soon be met in their communities.
We will be looking for this project to be completed and to be commissioned by past administration for over 25 years ago. Nothing was done. Within 9 months now, we are very grateful, and in fact, we thank God for this gesture.
This is the first time life is for information. This is the first time. We always use generator in our small houses. And now, today, we are very, very happy.
After this electricity that we have, we are praying at least to get more development in this town apart from this electricity.
In what may be best described as fulfillment of campaign promises to the people, the state government says it is committed to putting smiles in the faces of its people, especially in the rural communities.
I'm also not relenting. I've asked developers to come. We are trying to identify many points of hydro development all across the state. I'm also trying to identify areas where we can harvest sun for solar to develop other areas, not only Takara, Lao, and Bali, but other areas.
Plans are on the way to embark on road construction and youth empowerment next, as they are also part of the own government's agenda for rural dwellers.
The power of a legislator is lobbying, and we have lobbied for the light or electrification project, and it has come to pass. So if there's anything I will do again is to kind of draw my satellite again on other developmental needs of the whole people of the local government, this time around not only Lao.
Many have been calling on governments to pursue programs that are grassroots oriented. Rural communities in Nigeria mostly suffer the lack of these basic necessities. Governor Darius seems to be blazing a trail worthy of emulation. Udwa Godwin, CoreTV News, Jalingo.
The Plateau State Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, Deyabo Gaba, has charged the State Local Government Management Committee Chairman on accountability on the funds they manage. He gave the charge after taking a tour of the 17 local government areas in the state. A Plateau State correspondent tells us more in this report.
Citizens and state lawmakers have called for the close monitoring of local government administrators and the management of state finances.
Generally satisfied, but we will also call some chairman to order to sit up and ensure that funds meant for a particular project must be judiciously used.
Some of the local government chairmen speaking during the tour bemoaned the several deductions being made by banks on their account due to the debt facilities taken by previous administrations.
The thought to undertake visit of the entire council areas in the state is indeed a step in the right direction.
Today remains one of those joyous moments in the life of this local government, principally to have the privilege of hosting the Honorable Commissioner.
The local government chairman recently got 2-month extension as management committee chairman of their local government councils.
Youth have been identified as Africa's most untapped potential of all the resources it is blessed with. In his keynote address at a lecture in Lagos on Tuesday, erudite scholar Professor Pius Adesomi emphasizes the need for the Nigerian government and various African leaders to create an enabling environment for innovation and invention, as the continent has a large number of young people, in addition to all the natural and human resource needed to improve its economy. Sarah Ayeko was at the event. Our report.
Nigeria, with minimal resources in almost all its 776 local government areas, has over time relied on oil revenue for its development and sustenance. But far more than the natural resources, young people have been identified as the next big thing to have happened to the biggest black nation.
So while the world keeps looking towards Africa, our focus must remain fixed on consolidating present achievements and attaining more growth in the sub-region.
The creative genius, the innovation and the entrepreneurship spirit of this generation. So you can have all the resources in this world. If you do not pay attention to these kids, you're wasting your time. You may diversify. So youth.
Amid thought-provoking discussions and contributions, questions arise as to how Nigeria can be self-sustaining even as Africa continues to evolve as the greener pasture for developed countries. And can the youth take up this challenge?
It's a matter of the discipline that we need to approach and the rigor that we need to bring to things to let people know that we get things done because we are an orderly people, but we are truly Nigerians and we are original with no second copy, no second guessing about us, because we can then get things done in our own way.
Right now, anybody that is trying to wait for any company to work, especially for we the youth, I believe the world is turning into an entrepreneurial world, so we have to be able to tap into that market, and the internet provides us with a lot of opportunities.
Many believe that the slogan, "Great Nation, Good People," should not be a mirage, adding that the government must strive to formulate policies that will create an enabling environment for investors.
Nigerians, go back and do your work, pressure the National Assembly, pressure your representatives to do their work. Without that, even I will not put my money in Nigeria.
With an over 60% of Nigeria's population classified as youth, the nation is challenged to expand its thinking in order to fully tap and maximize its potential. Sarah Ayoku, CoreTV News, Lagos.
On the foreign scene, after the break, Islamic State has claimed responsibility for attacks on the airport and metro train in Brussels. Stay with us and we'll bring you more.
Join the Airtel family today and get 5 times the value of every recharge. Recharge with *555 PIN hash on the Airtel network and feel at home. Airtel, the smartphone network.
On the foreign scene now, Islamic State has claimed responsibility for attacks on an airport and a metro train in Brussels, Belgian capital, which killed 34 people this morning. Belgian officials have confirmed that 34 people were killed and over 170 others wounded in the coordinated bomb attacks at Zaventem Airport and Melbeek metro station in Brussels. This comes as police release the image of a man they want to question in connection to the attacks. As the country is struggling to come to grips with the attack, local media have made appeals to people living near Zaventem Airport to bring blankets, water, food and other essential medical supplies to a local gym being used as a temporary shelter. U.S. President Barack Obama has condemned the outrageous attacks in Brussels, which have killed dozens of people and injured more than 200 others, including several Americans. Speaking on the final day of his trip to Cuba, Obama began his speech by saying the U.S. will do whatever is necessary to support its friend and ally, Belgium, in bringing to justice those who were responsible. As major U.S. cities ramped up security, he said Tuesday's explosion at Brussels airport and subway system were another reminder of the world must unite in fighting the scourge of terrorism. U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry said the U.S. was trying to determine the status of all American citizens in Brussels. Meanwhile, Republican presidential frontrunner Donald Trump, who wants a temporary ban on Muslims entering the U.S., says America should close its borders until it figures out what's going on. And also in foreign, a bomb containing nails had been found along with an Islamic State flag in police raids in Brussels. The discoveries were made during a search of an apartment hours after the Belgian terror attacks, which killed at least 34 people. The search that took place in the Schaerbeek district found an explosive device containing nails amongst other things. Investigators also discovered chemicals and a flag of the Islamic State. A series of raids are taking place across Brussels in connection with 2 bomb blasts at Zaventem Airport and an explosion at a metro station. Belgian authorities have released a photograph showing 3 suspects caught on CCTV cameras at the airport. 2 men seen in the photograph wearing dark jumpers are believed to have blown themselves up in the terror strike, which began at around 8 a.m. local time. A 3rd man wearing a hat is understood to have fled the airport. Belgian authorities have issued a wanted notice for the man, and anti-terror police are searching the district of Schaerbeek and Jetty. And just before we go tonight, a quick reminder of our top stories. And it's a wrap on CoreTV Primetime News. Thank you so very much for joining us. I am Omotayo Alo. A very good